Chapter 2491, No Longer Staying With You, 2. The only thing that Chen Feng needed to prepare alone was naturally an arrangement for Qiao Zijin. A son understood his mother the most. Chen Feng had no doubt. Although Qiao Zijin said what she did, he would definitely not waste money on this plane ticket. Before this, he didn't buy a house or get married. He didn't have a wife or children. His mom had always wanted to come over but held back. However, every time she called, she would ask when he was buying a house, when he was getting married, and when he could fetch her over. He had bought a house and gotten married. Chen Feng knew that after his mom came over this time, even if Jia wasn't the daughter-in-law she was satisfied with and liked, she wouldn't leave so easily. Chen Feng didn't need to think too much about anything else. However, he had to solve the issue of Qiao Zijin's accommodation after she arrived at the capital. There was a consensus between Chen Feng and Jia on this. Jia wouldn't reject the idea of bringing Qiao Zijin over to the capital and providing for her. However, she must not stay with them. Chen Feng had also promised to rent a house for Qiao Zijin outside. According to the original agreement, Chen Feng really did help Qiao Zijin secure a house. It just depended on whether Qiao Zijin would board the plane. Speaking of which, Chen Feng had a fairly accurate view of Qiao Zijin. He was worried that Qiao Zijin would arrive too early and create trouble at his and Jiajia's wedding. Thus, he manipulated the date of the plane ticket quite well. Chen Feng had a plot, but Qiao Zijin had a strategy. She didn't live in vain for the past 50 years such that she was going to be controlled by her son. Knowing that Chen Feng had booked the plane ticket for her, Qiao Zijin wanted to change the date immediately so that she could arrive at the capital earlier, have a chance to ruin this wedding, and change a wife for Chen Feng. It was alright that Chen Feng booked a late date for her. She could change the time. Speaking of which, Qiao Zijin was really a person who wasn't willing to spend money. She knew that ticket prices would change. As such, Qiao Zijin kept looking until she saw a cheaper fare than what Chen Feng had booked for her. She said to change to this flight and didn't care that the flight took off at midnight. With such efforts, 3 days before Chen Feng's wedding, Qiao Zijin arrived at the capital at 4 in the morning. After taking an hour's train ride, she reached the vicinity of Chen Feng's house and gave him a call. Chen Feng took a look. It was not yet 6. Why was his mom calling him at this time? Mom, what happened? I'm already at the gate of your house in the neighborhood. Come out and pick me up. Let's discuss your marriage. Upon hearing that Qiao Zijin had already arrived, Chen Feng nearly fell out of bed. Out of helplessness, Chen Feng put on his clothes and hurriedly fetched Qiao Zijin home. Upon seeing that her son's house in the capital wasn't small and was well decorated, Qiao Zijin became particularly unhappy. You've already bought a house and renovated it well, yet you didn't fetch me over to the capital. Do you treat me as dead? Also, I object to the two of you. You two are not allowed to get married. You have good conditions and can definitely find a prettier and younger woman. Most importantly, she wanted to find an obedient daughter-in-law. She didn't want a girl like Jia, who had big ideas. Chen Feng had long expected Qiao Zijin's attitude and didn't have much reaction. Mom, Jia and I have already registered our marriage. From a legal perspective, we are legal husband and wife. Also, I bought this house together with Jia. If we get a separation, half of the house will belong to Jia. Qiao Zijin was extremely angry. Their family is already so wealthy. Would they still need the money for this half of the house? Aren't they shameless? Chen Feng wanted to say that the shameless person was her. It was Jiajia's family's matter that they were wealthy. No matter how rich they were, they had earned the money themselves. On what basis was it that after breaking up, Jiajia couldn't get back half of the house that she had forked out money for? Only his mom could say it so righteously that she was greedy. 3 days later, I'll hold a banquet with Jia. Mom, if you're willing, you can attend it. If not, you can stay at home. Why? With your Aunt Jiaonan around, you no longer need me, the biological mother? Did you get Jiaonan to help you with everything? Xiao Zijin was extremely angry. Her son was getting married. How could she be absent? Was Feng Feng crazy? Forget it that Chen Feng was woken up early this morning. He still had to handle Xiao Zijin's unreasonableness. Apologies, but even his wife, Jia, wasn't that difficult to coax. Mom, you're right. I'm very thankful that I have such an aunt. You probably don't know this, but since I was young, I've regarded her as my mom. Now that I've grown up and am getting married, I still feel that she is like my biological mother. His aunt had done everything that his mom should have done. His aunt didn't find it tough and didn't ask him for credit. However, his mom was vying for status here. Xiao Zijin was really so angry that she was speechless. If Jiaonan's so good, why didn't you call her your mom? In the end, Xiao Zijin shot her mouth off to hurt herself and Chen Feng. Chen Feng rubbed his eyes. I want to, but aunt's happiness is more important than anything else. Although she is my aunt, I know what her status is in my heart. This wouldn't change just because of a title. Mom, as a human, you have to be self-conscious. I realized that your biggest weakness and shortcoming in this lifetime is that you are not self-conscious. Looking at you like this, I'm guessing you're not going to return to Pingcheng. Of course. Xiao Zijin slammed the table. If I return to Pingcheng again, I really don't know if I had given birth to my son for myself or for Jiaonan. Now that I'm in front of you, you have to remember clearly that your biological mother is still alive. If you really want to be a filial son, be filial toward me. Don't get it wrong. Chen Feng laughed. He picked up his car keys and dragged Xiao Zijin's luggage outside. Xiao Zijin panicked and hurriedly followed Chen Feng out of the door. What do you want to do? She didn't think it was safe to put the 1 million yuan bank card on her, so she had put it in the luggage and was thus very agitated. After closing his door, Chen Feng said, Aren't you planning not to return to Pingcheng but stay in the capital? Jia and I have discussed this. If you have such thoughts, sure. I've already rented a house for you outside. Mom, I'd rather be more tired and work harder than to make you suffer. Don't worry. However, I would definitely not stay with you. Chapter 2492, Different, 1. Xiao Zijin was old but Chen Feng was young. Even if Xiao Zijin was unwilling, how would she be able to win against Chen Feng? It was only when she and her luggage were thrown into the small suite that Xiao Zijin cried sadly. Her son really didn't want her anymore. Did she want to acknowledge Jiaonan as his biological mother? As such, when she saw Jiaonan attend Jiajia's and Chen Feng's wedding, Xiao Zijin started to shoot arrows at her immediately, with a look that spelled you had snatched my son away. Jiaonan, you're ruthless. Are you taking revenge against me? When we were young, I snatched a lot of things away from you. Now that we're old, you want to take revenge and let me have a taste of what you had suffered, hey? Xiao Zijin was envious of Jiaonan. Under such an environment, Jiaonan managed to marry such a good man like Zai Sheng when she didn't even graduate from junior high school. Until now, the couple was still very loving. She had seen it just now. Zai Sheng took a piece of cake and didn't allow Jiaonan to take it. He even insisted on feeding Jiaonan. They were already in their 50s and 60s. Jiaonan was shameless to do such a mushy and disgusting thing. Upon thinking that she was obviously a university student but had gotten a divorce after marrying Chen Jun for less than 10 years, Xiao Zijin expressed that the person she hated the most in this lifetime was Jiaonan. Why was Jiaonan so hateful? When she snatched Jiaonan's things, she had nothing. She only attained happiness through the things she had snatched from Jiaonan. But Jiaonan? Jiaonan had everything now. She even snatched her son away from her. It was only recently that Jiao Zijin knew that the big house she had sold to pay for her kidney transplant was bought by Zai Sheng. He had given it to Jiao Nan, and Ding Ji had been living in it recently. Jiao Nan, you're already so blessed. It's not as if you don't have a son. I only have one but you have two. Why are you so ruthless, snatching away my only son? How far will you go in your revenge before stopping? You even let Wei Jiajia marry Feng Feng. Are you trying to torment me to death? In Qiao Zijin's view, Jiao Nan must have brought about Chen Feng's and Jiajia's union. Jiajia already had such a good relationship with Jiao Nan. After their marriage, would Jiajia treat her, the mother-in-law, well? What worried Qiao Zijin the most was that Jiajia might want to seek revenge for Jiao Nan. As such, she would keep sowing discord between Chen Feng and her and let Chen Feng abuse her. Just thinking about this alone, Qiao Zijin felt that she wouldn't be able to live on. Upon hearing Qiao Zijin's words, Jiao Nan laughed. Qiao Zijin, you have really treated others as yourself. You think it's good to snatch things away. I don't. You're right. I have two sons. Do I still need to snatch your only son? Feng Feng's my nephew, not my son. You have thought too much. Of course, as for how Feng Feng treats me, both you and I have no right to control his thoughts. Isn't that right? Qiao Zijin was so angry that her facial features were contorted. Jiao Nan, admit it. You're taking revenge. You obviously know that Feng Feng's my only hope, yet you still treat him so well such that he doesn't acknowledge me as a mother. Jiao Nan, you're wicked. You're a demon. It was a pity that no one else but her could see Jiao Nan's true colors. Why? Why did it have to be like this? Jiao Nan was such a bad person. Why were there still so many people by her side and treating her well? As for her, her life had been ruined by Jiao Nan. However, no one sympathized with her or pitied her. They even always said that she deserved this. Jiao Nan snatched her parents' love from her. Her husband's heart belonged to Jiao Nan. Even her son couldn't wait for Jiao Nan to be his biological mother instead of her. How much did Jiao Nan resent and hate her such that she had to destroy her life to this extent? She hated it. She hated that aside from her, no one else could see Jiao Nan's true ugly face hidden under that pretentious mask. Were those people blind? Were their eyes covered by ghosts? Why did they treat Jiao Nan so well? Jiao Nan couldn't understand why Qiao Zijin looked at her as if she was an enemy. I think it's better for you to calm down. Feng Feng and Jiajia are getting married today. If Qiao Zijin were to create trouble, Feng Feng would be the most embarrassed person. If Feng Feng lost face, would he still respect Qiao Zijin, his biological mother? Jiao Nan didn't understand why Qiao Zijin couldn't understand such simple logic. Qiao Zijin, let me advise you again. Don't keep thinking that people should treat you well and that if they don't, they are letting you down. You should be thinking about your life and those people who are very important to you. Think carefully about how well you should treat these important people in your limited life. Sacrifice is mutual. No relationship can be maintained if only one party keeps sacrificing. This was the case between couples and parents and children. When Qiao Zijin was a daughter, she kept asking her parents for things. When she became a mother, on the premise that she didn't sacrifice anything, she felt that it was time for her child to repay her. Regarding Qiao Zijin's abnormal psychology, Jiao Nan didn't know if Jiao Nan should take more responsibility for this, or if the Ding Ji who raised Qiao Zijin up should. Qiao Zijin was here. Ding Ji was naturally here as well. Ding Ji sat quietly by the side. She was as silent as a wooden sculpture. After Qiao Dongliang's death, Ding Ji's temper became like this. Her emotions no longer fluctuated. Even if today was the day that her grandson got married, Ding Ji couldn't even smile. She was like this when she faced Chen Feng. She was also like this when she saw Jiao Nan's triplets. Since Ding Ji was like this, the children naturally weren't willing to get close to her, their grandma. After addressing her, they ran away. Today, Bao and San Bao were the flower boy and flower girl. They had their things to do and couldn't possibly be around their grandma. Mom's there. Aren't you going to see her? Qiao Nan pointed in the direction of Dingji. Qiao Zijin laughed when she heard this. How rare! You're still willing to address that woman as your mom? When did this start? You haven't called her like this for years, right? Qiao Nan was like this. Qiao Zijin was also like this. The mother-daughter pair didn't meet and didn't call each other. How would Qiao Zijin still treat her as her mom? In the face of such an extreme Qiao Zijin, Qiao Nan felt that she had seen the Qiao Zijin who had died under her own car in her dream. Qiao Nan sighed and no longer wanted to talk to Qiao Zijin. She was afraid that the more she spoke, the crazier Qiao Zijin would behave. Chapter 2493, Different, 2. It was a big trouble for Jia to have Qiao Zijin as a mother-in-law and Chen Feng to have her as a mother. It wasn't only Qiao Nan who thought this way. Zihua similarly felt the same. After knowing that Qiao Zijin had arrived at the capital in advance and even forced Chen Feng to get a divorce with Jia and that they were not allowed to hold a wedding banquet, Zihua was so angry that she wanted to tear Qiao Zijin apart. Why did Qiao Zijin have so many matters? They didn't stop at all. They were already at this age. However insensible they were, they should be sensible by now. Who knew that not only was Qiao Zijin the same as before, but she even seemed to be getting worse. Thankfully, Chen Feng remembered his promise and knew how to arrange another accommodation for Qiao Zijin. Otherwise, it wasn't that Qiao Zijin would disagree to this, but she would. She wouldn't let her daughter marry into the Chen family and meet a mother-in-law like Qiao Zijin. All right, don't be angry. Your daughter's getting married today. Be happier. Seeing Zihua so angry, Qiao Nan couldn't help but laugh. Sister Zihua and Qiao Zijin became in-laws. Once these two old women met each other, Feng Feng's and Jia's days were definitely going to be exciting. Qiao Nan couldn't help but look sadly at Bao, who was in a suit. Qiao Zijin only had Chen Feng as a son. She was already like this when he was getting married. She had 3 children. She didn't know what kind of daughter-in-law Bao and Bao would find for her in the future. She also didn't know what kind of man San Bao would get married to. Oh no, she couldn't think of this. The more she thought about it, the more panicked she felt. Mom. Bao looked at Qiao Nan in confusion. Mom, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? Or is the air conditioner too strong and you're feeling cold? Bao knew that the way his mom looked at him was a little strange. He didn't know that his mom was thinking about what kind of a daughter-in-law he would find for her in the future. The 14-year-old Bao was already very tall. He was going to be taller than Qiao Nan soon. However, Qiao Nan wasn't that tall to begin with. She was only around 1.6 meters. The Zai family's genes were good. Zihua was over 1.7 meters while Zai Sheng was over 1.8 meters. If the 3 children grew up well, they would definitely be taller than Qiao Nan. Even San Bao would be taller than her, let alone Bao and Bao. Seeing that the 3 children still looked young and tender but were already taller than her, Qiao Nan was deeply moved. She often felt that she had given birth to the 3 children at an old age and didn't know how long she could accompany them for. She didn't expect that in the blink of an eye, the 3 children were already taller than her. Mom's fine. I'm not cold. Are you hungry? The 3 children were growing again. Qiao Nan often had to prepare 5 meals a day for them. With such a way of eating, the 3 children seemed to grow only vertically but not horizontally. Every time she saw how skinny Bao and Bao were, Qiao Nan couldn't help but worry. Bao, if you're hungry, I'll get someone to prepare something for you first. You are growing now and can't go hungry. Look at how skinny you are. Every time she thought of how Dabao and Erbao didn't have much meat on them, Xiaonan would feel anxious. Dabao blushed, but he didn't hide from Xiaonan's hand which was squeezing his elbow. "Mom, don't worry. Erbao and I are growing well. We don't look fat because our bodies are firm. You can feel how skinny I am, but can't you feel how hard my muscles are? Not as hard as your dad's." Speaking of this, Xiaonan became even sadder. When the three children were young, their bodies were soft and fragrant. It was so comfortable to hug them. Who knew that as they started to grow up, their baby fat disappeared and their bodies even became hard? Xiaonan had already experienced for herself how hard her husband's body was. Who knew that her three children were becoming like their dad? Xiaonan only felt terrible in her heart. Dabao consoled Xiaonan. "Mom, I'm still young. We have only trained for a short time. Wait and see. Within 3 years, our bodies will be firmer than our dad's." No matter what, he couldn't lose to his own father. Only if he and Erbao became stronger could they protect their mom and Sanbao in the future. However, upon thinking about Sanbao's performance in the army, Dabao expressed that it was better for them to just protect their mom. Sanbao looked like a sweet girl, but once she made a move, even boys would have to address her as dad. How would she need his and Erbao's protection? Sanbao put on a beautiful wedding dress as she wished. Her nose became itchy and she couldn't help but sneeze. As someone obsessed with her younger siblings, Jia hurriedly said when she heard Sanbao sneeze, "Hello, can you turn down the air conditioner a little? My younger sister's cold." "All right." The staff quickly adjusted the temperature to be higher. "Bride, you really dote on your sister. Both of you are so beautiful." "Thank you." Upon hearing that the staff complimented Sanbao for being pretty, Jia was happy. As for her being complimented, Jia didn't take it to heart. "My younger sister's pretty, right?" The staff was speechless. She was going to get married. Shouldn't the prettiest person today be the bride herself? "Sister Jia, don't worry about me. I'm good. It's about time. We should head out." "Where's Aunt?" Jia and Chen Feng were doing a Western-style wedding. According to logic, the bride's or groom's father should hold Jia and deliver her to the groom's hand. It was unknown where Jia's father was. Chen Feng's father was no longer around. That said, there was no longer any male elder in the newlyweds' families. In the end, Zihua said that since she was marrying her daughter away, she would hold her daughter's hand and deliver her to her son-in-law. Zihua felt that this was something easy when she said it. However, under certain lights, music, and atmosphere, Zihua's eyes turned red. "Chen Feng, I only have Jia as a daughter. You have to treat her well." "Mom, don't worry. I will. You can monitor me by the side." Chen Feng agreed solemnly and firmly grasped Jia's hand. Their fingers interlocked tightly. Qiao Zijin, who was sitting below, saw that Zihua could go on stage. With so many people watching and her being the groom's biological mother, how could she not go up? Qiao Zijin wanted to go up. However, Chen Feng knew her temper too clearly. As such, he had long said to her, "Mom, aside from giving birth to me, you've never raised me up, taken care of me, or doted on me before. If you didn't have the ability, I wouldn't have other thoughts. However, you had that ability, but you just couldn't bear to. Mom, as your son, do you think my heart has turned cold? Mom, you're different from other moms." Chapter 2494, A Child's Happiness, 1. "Mom, I like Jia a lot. I would definitely marry her and not get a divorce from her. You have never done your duty as a mother. I will try my best to fulfill my obligations as a son. However, I have to remind you. If you ruin my wedding with Jia and cause her to be unhappy, I don't mind you saying that I've forgotten about my mom after having a wife. The money's in my pockets. It's up to me how I want to provide for your old age. Mom, don't force me. What was Qiao Zijin most afraid of? She was most afraid that her son wouldn't provide for her old age and she couldn't lead a good life. Qiao Zijin didn't dare to treat Chen Feng's words to be just scaring herself and that they were untrue. Qiao Zijin knew too clearly that Chen Feng's feelings for Jiajia were much deeper than his feelings for her. Chen Feng could really abandon her because of Jiajia. Even without Chen Feng's reminder, Qiao Zijin knew how much she had sacrificed for him. Chen Feng had her fate in his hands. How would Qiao Zijin dare to make a din? She could only watch as Zihua received more attention than her, the groom's biological mother. Under everyone's blessings but hers, the wedding ceremony ended. Now, not only had Chen Feng registered his marriage with Jiajia, but they had also held a wedding banquet. Jiajia was Chen Feng's wife. She couldn't run away from this status. Chen Feng and Jiajia were married. To Qiao Nan, she only needed to be busy once for the marriage between the two children whom she liked. Speaking of which, that saved her a lot of effort. She didn't know if the 3 weddings she would help her 3 children organize after they grew up would be as smooth sailing as today. Grand Aunt, let me help you. Just walk. You're so short. Why are you helping Grand Aunt? Don't cause her to fall instead. Brother's bad. You bully me. I'll tell Dad. A daughter was her father's lover in his previous life. Once she was bullied, she immediately thought of complaining to the father whom she loved the most. Chen Xingxin, can you be more promising? You're already a big kid. Why are you always complaining to Dad? Once Chen Xingxin complained, he would suffer a beating. Chen Xingxin was not willing to take this lying down. Chen Pengpeng, if you don't bully me, how would I complain to Dad? Is there a brother like you? The Chen family's siblings started to argue and Qiao Nan laughed. All right, Peng Peng has to take care of his sister. Xingxin has to dote on her brother as well. Aren't the both of you sick of arguing? She's in the wrong. Brother's bad for bullying me. The siblings started to argue again. Chen Peng and Chen Xin were Chen Feng's and Jiajia's son and daughter. Chen Peng was 7 years old this year. He was conceived in the couple's 3rd year of marriage. Chen Xin was the 2nd child. She was 4 years old this year. It was no wonder that Chen Peng, who was at the height of Qiao Nan's chest, scolded his sister for overestimating her capabilities when he heard that Chen Xin was going to help her. It was unknown if they were influenced by their parents, but once Chen Peng and Chen Xin were born, their paternal grandma didn't like them. Their maternal grandma was alright and could play with them for a while. However, their favorite was still Qiao Nan, their grand aunt. Especially when the young couple first gave birth to Chen Peng, they didn't know how to raise a child. No matter how much they loved him, they were still clumsy. There was nothing much to expect from Zihua. Qiao Zijin? Stop scaring people. In the end, the novice parents took their son to Qiao Nan and got her to teach them how to raise him up. As the novice parents had jobs, Qiao Nan pretty much raised Chen Peng up until he was 3 years old. Qiao Nan expressed that she didn't have a choice. She handed her foundation over to Jiajia to manage as she was her successor. She was old and couldn't run around anymore. She had to let Jiajia run the different activities and take care of things. Jiajia was her successor to deliver warmth to this society. Qiao Nan naturally had to help Jiajia and Chen Feng bring up Chen Peng, her grandnephew. As such, Chen Peng was sent to kindergarten after Qiao Nan brought him up to 3 years old. Then, it was Chen Xin's turn. Sorry, but Chen Feng and Jiajia didn't accumulate any experience of bringing up a child during the process of raising Chen Peng, so 4 years after the triplets graduated, Qiao Nan could be said to have brought up 2 grandchildren. Even though her own children were already 25 years old, Qiao Nan had no intention to urge them to get married. Their dad, Zai Sheng, was the best example. He was urged to get married and got a divorce after 3 years of marriage in the end. With them as examples, Xiao Nan expressed that she'd rather her 3 children take it slow and find someone they really loved before talking about marriage and children. It was just that Xiao Nan was already 65 years old this year. Just like Miao Jing back then, Xiao Nan was a little sad that although she would have the chance to see her 3 children married, she didn't know how long more she could take care of her grandchildren. Upon hearing that Chen Feng's and Jiajia's son and daughter were arguing, Zai Sheng felt a headache. These 2 brats only knew how to create children but not raise them. What time was it already? Why weren't they bringing their children home? In the past, Zai Sheng still felt that both Jiajia and Chen Feng were all right. Now, he hated this couple very much. When Zai Sheng saw Chen Feng and Jiajia come to pick their children up, Zai Sheng's face was dark. Jiajia held her son's hand and Chen Feng held Xingxin in his arms. After greeting Zai Sheng and Xiao Nan, they hurriedly brought their children away. In the car, Jiajia couldn't help but ask, "Did the 2 of you pester Grand-aunt to accompany you again?" She really didn't understand. Her uncle was already an old man in his 70s. Why was he still so full of jealousy? He couldn't leave her aunt's side at all. She had a toothache seeing the old couple. What angered Jiajia the most was that because of this, her uncle gave them dirty looks every day. Her uncle still had the cheek to blame Peng Peng and Xingxin for clinging to her aunt. The person who clung to her aunt the most was her uncle, all right? How would Jiajia know that in Zai Sheng's heart, Xiao Nan was his wife? As such, it was only natural for him to be together with her. He wasn't being clingy. They were a couple. On the contrary, those outsiders who had repeatedly occupied their couple time together really lacked self-consciousness. Xingxin smiled like a flower. "Yes, Grand-aunt told me a story today and coaxed me to sleep. She even played puzzles with me. Mom, I want to go to Grand-aunt's house again tomorrow." "Indeed. Peng Peng, what did you play today?" Grand-aunt took out the toys that uncle and aunt played with when they were young. "The bullet shell model is so cool. Mom, look at this tank. It's a gift from Grand-aunt. Do-do-do. Whoosh, bang." Without a doubt, regardless of whether it was her son or daughter, they were happy to be by her aunt's side. Chapter 2495, A Child's Happiness, 2. Even though her aunt was getting older and rarely went out, her 2 children still played well with her and didn't feel bored at all. "Aunt's formidable. Peng Peng and Xingxin like her," Jiajia said. Chen Feng, who was driving, said, "You don't like her." Without thinking, Jiajia replied, "You don't like her." In the end, the couple laughed. They were family and had the same temper. They also liked the same people. No one could laugh at one another. They were happy, but Zai Sheng wasn't. "Nan, let's go out tomorrow. So that Jiajia and Chen Feng wouldn't send their children to our home." "How noisy." Leaning in Zai Sheng's arms, Xiao Nan, who was watching the evening news together with him, smiled. "Don't worry. It's Monday tomorrow. Xingxin and Peng Peng have to go to school. At least for the next 5 days, no one would disturb us." Xiao Nan was already used to her husband being someone full of jealousy. Unlike the sourness in Zai Sheng's heart, Xiao Nan only felt that her life in the later years was so sweet that even if she didn't eat any sweets, she would soon be sick. They were 70 years old and 65 years old. Zai Sheng still liked to call her Nan. What about the weekend? Zai Sheng really didn't quite like other people's children. It wasn't easy for them to finally raise their children up and set them free so that he could have his wife all to himself. Who knew that Chen Peng and Chen Xin, these 2 troublemakers, would be sent over? Especially when Chen Peng was sent over, the angry Zai Sheng nearly threw him into Chen Feng's arms and asked their family to get lost with a cold face. They didn't know how to raise their children after giving birth to them. Why did they give birth in the first place then? Xiao Nan smiled. "Brother Zai, shall we go back to Qingshui town for our old age?" The older she got, the more Qiaonan wanted to return to Qingshui town, the place where she met Zai Sheng, and they decided to be together. The three children have grown up. Let's leave this house to them. Peng Peng was already 7 years old and in primary school. Xingxin was 4 years old and in kindergarten. After both children went to school, the time Chen Feng and Jiajia needed to take care of them was greatly reduced. Furthermore, Jiajia's working hours were more flexible. It wouldn't be a problem for her to take care of both children. Zai Sheng's eyes shone. For real. If they returned to Qingshui town, they would really be depending on each other for the rest of their lives. Qiaonan smiled. Since when did I go back on my words? Why would I joke with you about this? I'm serious. Let's go back to Qingshui town for our old age. Initially, Miaojing and Zai Yayawai also had this same plan. However, in order to spend more time with their grandchildren, they didn't return to Qingshui town for their old age in the end. They were in the capital when they passed away. Then, Qiaonan and Zai Sheng took their ashes back and buried them beside the graves of old Master Zai and his wife. All right, I'll get someone to buy our plane tickets now. Before the plane took off, he would definitely not let those children know about this, lest Nan Nan became entangled with them and couldn't bear to leave again. It was only when the plane took off and he saw those flocculent white clouds did Zai Sheng feel relieved. This time, those children wouldn't be able to catch up to them. With Qiaonan's hand in his and their fingers interlocked affectionately together, Zai Sheng thought happily that their two-people world was finally going to begin. Qiaonan leaned her head against Zai Sheng's shoulders and smiled happily. Yes, they could live in their two-people world now. Even if he was 70 years old and she was 65, happiness would never be late because of age. After Zai Sheng and Qiaonan arrived at Qingshui town, they led a relaxed life of their own. It was a pity that the children they gave birth to couldn't be abandoned just like that. Within a year, the triplets dropped 3 bombs at the same time, nearly causing Qiaonan and Zai Sheng to be in a daze. What? All of you are getting married? Why the use of all? Zai Sheng was confused. Why couldn't he seem to understand his son's words? Dad, Bao, San Bao, and I are getting married. Perhaps Qiaonan and Zai Sheng were older now than in her dream. In her dream, when the triplets were in primary school, they no longer allowed their family members to address them by Da Bao, Bao, and San Bao anymore. However, in this lifetime, the 3 children were about to get married, but they had not requested any relatives around them to stop addressing them by these nicknames. The 3 of you are getting married? With whom? Married? Sure, they could get married. But there had to be marriage partners, right? Were the 3 children dating? Who were their partners? Why didn't he or Nan Nan hear anything? I'm warning you. Marriage is a big deal. Even if it isn't as conservative as before now, and marriage and divorce are like having a meal, what your mom and I want is for you to treat this matter seriously. If you have a partner, you don't have to rush to get married. Spend a few more years to get to know each other. Zai Sheng was a divorcee. He didn't wish for his 3 children to be like him. Until now, he felt that Qiaonan had suffered as it was her first marriage, but it was his second, even though his first wasn't a de facto marriage. If you loved someone, you naturally hope to be the best self for your other half. Zai Yi said, Dad, you and Mom don't have to worry. The 3 of us have thought it through carefully that we have found the right ones before mentioning to you that we want to get married. Actually, we have already graduated 4 years ago. However, we have been with our partners together for 3 years. How would the 3 children not know their parents' attitudes toward their marriages? They didn't treat marriage lightly. After 3 years of understanding, it was only today that they finally told their parents that they were ready to get married. 3 years. Zai Sheng was shocked. He didn't expect this answer at all. They had been together for 3 years. Indeed, this wasn't a short period of time. You've thought through it. Yes. All right, let me share this situation with your mom. We'll see when we return to the capital. Their children were getting married. It was unknown if they had arranged for their weddings to be held together. Dad, you can share this with Mom. However, you don't have to return to the capital. We've thought about this. We'll return to Qingshui town to hold the wedding. Have you asked your partner's opinions yet? Zai Sheng could understand why the three children would make such a decision after thinking for a while. The children didn't want him and Nan Nan to be too tired. Also, old Master Zai, his grandma and his parents were buried in Qingshui town. It could be said that 2 generations of the Zai family had longed for these 3 children. Whether the children would be happy in the future was the last concern of these elders. Chapter 2496, A Visit from the In-Laws, 1. Yes, Zai Yi replied without any guilty conscience. Marriage wasn't something done for fun. He naturally had to find someone suitable and whom he liked before getting married. Actually, Zai Yi played a word game with his father. He said that they had been together for 3 years. However, he actually dated more than one person during this period. It wasn't that Zai Yi was disrespectful to his girlfriend and chose to desert her as his conditions were good. They knew their family situation. The 3 children had long discussed in private that they felt that it was good for Chen Feng and Jia to get married like that back then. 2 weddings became 1, and this could save their mom a lot of trouble. There were 3 of them. For something as troublesome as weddings, they didn't want their mom to be tired after organizing it thrice. Not only would their dad feel heartache and get angry, but they, as children, wouldn't feel comfortable in their hearts as well. As such, the 3 of them agreed to work hard to find their partners. When they found the right one, they would hold their weddings together. The 3 of them planned it this way so that they could save their parents' efforts. Although they were willing, they also had to see if their other halves were willing or not. Indeed, Sanbao was Sanbao. She had been bad-tempered since she was young. After she grew up, she was capable and found a boyfriend whom she could control easily. The boyfriend said that as long as Sanbao was willing to marry him, it didn't matter where they were getting married or if it was a Chinese-style or Western-style wedding. He would listen to Sanbao's views completely. As such, the only person who really dated the same partner for 3 years was only Sanbao. Dabao and Bao were boys. Their partners were girls. Which girl wouldn't want to have an unforgettable wedding and be the person everyone paid most attention to on that special day? When they heard their boyfriends say that there were potentially 3 couples holding their weddings together, Dabao's and Bao's girlfriends hardly agreed. Their girlfriends thought of a few ideas. They said that they would try to create less trouble for both parties' parents. If there was anything, they, the younger generation, could just handle it so that it wouldn't be tough on both parties' parents. As such, the wedding of the 3 couples did not need to be held on the same day. Dabao and Bao had seen how the situation was like when Chen Feng and Jia got married. There were a lot of things that they didn't understand and had to be done by adults. Furthermore, if 3 weddings were held, no matter how effortless they were, their parents had to go through the formalities thrice. No, that would tire them out. Zai Yi and Zai Xin were born well. They were good-looking as well. Both girls were proud to have boyfriends like Zai Yi and Zai Xin. They thought that since their partners were the chief's sons and they had achieved very outstanding performances and results in the army, their weddings couldn't be sloppy. It was definitely a no to have 3 couples together on the same day. When Zai Yi and Zai Xin expressed this idea, both parties had not reached the stage of discussing marriage. The brothers were just giving their girlfriends a heads up to see their attitudes. Then, they realized that their first girlfriends were unwilling to accept this. They'd rather think of other solutions than to agree to them. Alright, since their feelings for each other weren't deep yet, they should break up quickly and not delay each other since their mindsets differed. After the breakup, the 2 girls were shocked. Weren't they still dating yesterday? Why did they suddenly break up today? The girls wanted to cry and kick up a fuss. They refused to break up. After breaking up with such an outstanding person, where would they go to find a better partner? To be honest, in terms of family background, it was really difficult to find girls like Zai Yi and Zai Xin. Thankfully, the Zai family never had sectarian views. As long as they were suitable and liked each other, they weren't particular about this. As brothers, after experiencing a breakup once, Zai Yi and Zai Xin became more careful when looking for girlfriends again. Love was important as well. As such, the brothers ranked both love and suitability at the top. It wasn't enough if there was love. They had to be suitable for each other as well. It wasn't enough if they were suitable. It was important that they loved each other too. When the brothers were still looking for their partners, Sanbao had already settled down with her boyfriend. Sanbao said, "The both of you can just decide what to do. My boyfriend and I have already decided. He will follow my views completely. There won't be any issues. When the both of you have confirmed your partners, let's hurry up and get married." Their younger sister had surpassed them. As brothers, Zai Yi and Zai Xin felt that they had lost face. In the second year, Zai Xin could be said to have found a girl whom he liked and found suitable. They started dating. Thus, only the eldest, Zai Yi, was left. Even after being laughed at by his younger brother and sister, Zai Yi wasn't anxious. Who asked him to be the older brother? His requirements for finding a partner had to be higher than Zai Xin's. The eldest brother was like a father while the eldest sister-in-law was like a mother. Based on Zai Sheng's and Qiaonan's age, the person who had to take care of this family more and work harder in the future would definitely be Zai Yi's other half. As such, if the girl Zai Yi was looking for wasn't generous or considerate enough to take care of others, their marriage would be gone sooner or later. After all, the relationship between the three siblings had always been very good. He was prepared to keep it that way. One could imagine how serious Dabao naturally was when choosing his partner. He didn't dare to be sloppy at all. Thankfully, what Qiaonan and Zai Sheng kept teaching Zai Yi finally came true. Don't be anxious. There would always be someone who could give you happiness waiting for you. 2 years later, Zai Yi found the girl he wanted. She was cheerful and generous. She was especially gentle and could take care of others well. What satisfied Zai Yi was that this girl didn't have a mother. After her father married her stepmother, the two gave birth to another son. This son was brought up by his girlfriend, who was the older sister. There was a stepmother, after all. As time passed, his girlfriend's relationship with her biological father naturally became distant. She was also neutral toward this half-brother. It wasn't that Zai Yi was biased. Under such circumstances, he believed that after this girl married him, she would naturally take care of his relatives more and be closer with them. Facts had proven that Zai Yi didn't find a wrong partner. After knowing Zai Yi's conditions, the girl hesitated for a while as she felt her background wasn't compatible with his. It was when Zai Yi told her that they didn't have sectarian views and that his mom was nice did the girl decide to give it a shot. No matter if she was being genuine or hypocritical, she was quite concerned about the situation of Zai Yi's parents when they were dating. Sometimes, when they were out on a date and she saw something good, she would say that it was suitable to get it for the elders. As such, the things that Zai Yi gave to his parents for the past year were actually selected by his girlfriend or suggested by her. Chapter 2497, A Visit from the In-Laws, 2. Zai Yi observed silently, and upon realizing that his girlfriend had indeed chosen things that were suitable for the elderly for his parents, his confidence in his relationship grew. That girl had even said that it was only right for Zai Yi to treat Zai Xin and Zai Yu well since they shared the same parents, unlike her who had a half-brother. She felt that her boyfriend's family felt like a family because he treated his younger siblings well. In her own family, she felt that kinship seemed unimportant. That was why she yearned to marry a man who felt strongly for his family. She was the one Zai Yi was looking for, and Zai Yi was the one she was looking for. Zai Yi's enviable family background was simply a bonus to her. Zai Yi had taken the longest time to confirm his relationship with his girlfriend and had spent a whole year getting to know her. That was why he was sure that she was the one, and that had led to this call. All three of them are getting married on the same day? They're even coming to Qingshui town. Upon hearing Zai Sheng's words, Qiaonan didn't even know how to respond. When did this happen? Why don't I know anything about it? Have they really found partners? Yes. Zai Sheng laughed. They're all grown up and have ideas of their own. De Bao said that they've already been dating for 3 years. 3 years was not a short time, and it wouldn't be too soon for marriage. They've been dating for 3 years. Qiaonan was even more surprised and felt a little sour. Then, I guess marriage is on the cards. Forget it that De Bao and Er Bao hadn't told her about it. But even San Bao had not told her about getting a boyfriend. Brother Zai, they're all getting married. Our children are getting snatched away. That's all right. You still have me. He was the most important one anyway. Qiaonan sniffled and leaned into Zai Sheng's embrace, not saying a word. Even if her children were to get married, they were still her children whom she had painstakingly raised. She couldn't seem to let them go. Zai Yi's call to his parents was the best chance for a discussion. After that call, the 3 children brought their partners and their partners' parents to Qingshui town the very next day for a meeting. The Zai family's old villa had been peaceful and quiet with only the 2 of them the previous day. But today, it was packed with people. Qiaonan couldn't help but feel a little awkward. Compared to Zai Sheng and herself, her 3 sets of in-laws were almost 10 to 20 years younger than them. That was almost a full generation away. Qiaonan felt a little out of place. But unlike the uneasy Qiaonan, Zai Sheng was quietly observing these 6 people. From the surface, Zai Sheng could tell that these 6 people were rather honest and wouldn't try to fight or snatch others' things. He couldn't deny that such in-laws would be much more suitable given their family background. The children of the Zai family didn't need to find partners with good family backgrounds. All their partners needed to do was to hold the fort so that they could continue to work hard outside. Sometimes, people who were too ambitious would instead drag the Zai family down. Based on this alone, Zai Sheng was rather satisfied with his children's judgments. He only hoped that his first impression wouldn't be proven wrong. How his children lived in the future would depend entirely on them. Zai Sheng had already made several drafts in his mind, and the 3 sets of parents were especially nervous. After all, they had never met such an impressive figure in their entire lives. Who would have expected their son or daughters to have found such outstanding in-laws? Although Zai Sheng hadn't made many appearances on television, everyone knew that Zai Sheng was a chief. As such, everyone sat up straight, especially the fathers. Which man had never had a dream of being a soldier? The man in front of them was the head of the army. As for the mothers, they turned their attention to the smiling and kind Qiaonan. Even without relying on her husband, Zai Sheng, or her status as the Zai family's daughter-in-law, Qiaonan had made a name for herself as a generous philanthropist. Someone had done the math and there were tens of thousands of children who were being sponsored by Qiaonan and also a significant number of elderly who were being supported by Qiaonan's foundation until their deaths. Based on these 2 aspects alone, Qiaonan must have spent more than tens of millions of yuan. Other than that, Qiaonan had also provided aid to poverty-stricken areas. The money spent was in billions. It could be said that Qiaonan had spent all her money on charitable acts, but she had never been materialistic her whole life. Qiaonan had never worn any branded clothes, nor carried any expensive bags. People always saw Qiaonan carrying bags worth only 200 to 300 yuan, and she would carry that same bag for 10 years. That was how it was with her bags, clothes, and shoes. Because of Qiaonan's age. Someone had even joked that it was good that Qiaonan had maintained herself well. Otherwise, Qiaonan would seem very out of place with her simple style once she gained weight. With Qiaonan leading the way, many other women had followed in her footsteps, whether they thought that it was truly good to do so, or whether they were simply following the trend. After all, fashion came and went. Women usually loved branded goods but were sometimes unable to afford them because of their statuses. It was miserable to see everyone around them having one when they didn't. With Xiaonan leading the way, such a phenomenon was no longer as common. As such, even though most women had never met Xiaonan, she had become their favorite female idol. Although these three mothers were quite old, they still idolized Xiaonan. They had always relied on news reports on the television or newspaper to learn about their idol. But now, she was sitting right in front of them and was even smiling at them. She was even going to become their in-law. The three mothers couldn't help but pinch themselves. It all seemed like a dream. Had Xiaonan exhausted all the hardships of her life before she turned 40? After all, every family had impressive characters. As the three children grew up to become of marriageable age, Xiaonan had already prepared herself to meet someone like Ding Ji or Xiao Zijin. But the heavens were on her side. All three families were good. Chapter 2498, Exhausted, Finale, 1. The fathers respected Zai Sheng and didn't dare to make a noise as long as Zai Sheng remained silent. As for the mothers, they were just like the fathers and stared at their idol, Xiaonan, like fans. Whatever their idol said was right. If their son or daughter's opinions differed from their idol's, it was definitely their children who were in the wrong. With such a harmonious atmosphere, the meeting undoubtedly went smoothly and successfully. Besides, the three young couples had already come up with a comprehensive plan for their wedding. Seeing that Zai Sheng and Xiaonan had agreed to it, the other three sets of parents immediately nodded in agreement. The wedding of the Zai family's triplets went especially smoothly. The three young couples had already taken their wedding photos and had also gotten the hard copies. Although the triplets didn't want to put too much burden on their parents, they also wished to leave a good memory for their partners, and there was a need to pay attention to the process and details. They would rather work harder and allow their parents to relax, but the memories had to be perfect. It was because of this attitude of the Zai family's triplets that their partners were absolutely sure of their decisions to marry them. What mattered most was how much they cared and respected their partners. On the day the three children got married, Xiaonan hugged Zai Sheng's arm and cried while smiling. "Brother Zai, it's really just you and me in the future. You have to stay by my side." Her sons and daughter had gotten married to start their own families with their own children. As expected, the only one who would stay with her until the end was her husband, Zai Sheng. "Why? Am I not enough?" Zai Sheng wanted to comfort Xiaonan but was sour about how Xiaonan had said such a thing. "You're enough." Xiaonan wiped away her tears and nodded. Without Zai Sheng, she would never have been able to give birth to three adorable and obedient children. "Brother Zai, do you think our children will be as blissful as us after they get married?" Zai Sheng frowned. "We're the most blissful." Xiaonan responded after a moment of silence. "Do you think they'll have just a fraction of our bliss?" "That's possible." He was a father, after all, and wouldn't be so vicious to his children. "Since they've already gotten their own families, you can stop worrying about them. You can pay more attention to me now. We're the ones who will stay blissful even into our old age." As a grandpa of 70 years old and a grandma of 65 years old, Zai Sheng's words evoked mixed feelings. She hugged Zai Sheng's arm tightly. "Yes, we'll remain blissful into our old age. Till death do us part." Zai Sheng could sense that Xiaonan shared his thoughts. "Yes, we'll remain blissful. Even death wouldn't be able to part them." Xiao Zijin's freedom. Ever since Xiao Zijin had gained an understanding of her surroundings, she realized that she hated her younger sister, Xiaonan. Even her parents hadn't liked her younger sister very much. In fact, after Xiaonan's birth, her mother's attitude toward her had improved. Knowing that her father was no longer a soldier and that her family's conditions wouldn't be as good as they had been, Xiao Zijin often thought that it would have been better if her younger sister, Xiaonan, had never been born. If Xiao Nan suddenly died, they would probably be able to return to their normal lives. As such, even before entering high school, the thought that was constantly on Xiao Zaijian's mind was why Xiao Nan was still not dead yet. It was only after she entered high school did Xiao Zaijian realize how good it was to have Xiao Nan as her younger sister. Her results weren't as good as Xiao Nan's, but her mother was still willing to fund her education. Compared to working and getting a job, studying was naturally easier. Anyway, her parents had never made her sign any documents nor forced her to achieve certain grades to continue studying. Had that been the case, she would definitely have been out working just like Xiao Nan. Without the need to work, Xiao Zaijian lived comfortably and freely. She wanted whatever her classmates had and could simply ask her mom for money. Then, her mother would ask Xiao Nan for money to buy whatever she wanted for her. Could life get any more comfortable? Of course not. That was how she had spent a few years of her life in school. In the blink of an eye, it was time for her to graduate and find a job. Xiao Zaijian hadn't paid attention in school, and neither did she have any special talents. As such, there was no way for her to find a good job or a well-paying one. Xiao Zaijian gave it some thought. It didn't matter that she couldn't earn her keep. Anyway, Xiao Nan was good at earning money. She had heard that Xiao Nan could earn 10 to 20,000 yuan a month from her translation job. That was great. With Xiao Nan around, Xiao Zaijian could afford to find a relaxing job. Now that she had settled the matter of her job, it was time to find herself a boyfriend and a marriage partner. No one met her criteria. They were either too ugly or had poor family backgrounds. Xiao Zaijian hadn't even met a partner before Xiao Nan, who had not even graduated from junior high school, brought a handsome and rich man home, saying that he was her boyfriend and that they were getting married. Xiao Zaijian was in shock. He was truly a handsome man. And not only did that handsome guy's father work in the government sector, but he was even a commissioner. Xiao Zaijian couldn't help but think about how good it would be if that guy was her boyfriend instead. Xiao Zaijian had never spent much effort in her studies, but she spared no efforts in her marriage. Having tried to seduce Chen Jun a few times, Xiao Zaijian discovered to her delight that Chen Jun wasn't very loyal to Xiao Nan even though he liked her. As expected, after feeding Chen Jun a few glasses of alcohol once, Chen Jun went to bed with her. Upon seeing the bright red blood on the bed, Xiao Zaijian was over the moon. She had snatched this man from Xiao Nan and had slept with him. This handsome and rich man was hers. Just as Xiao Zaijian was celebrating her victory, Chen Jun coldly threw 5,000 yuan at her to pay for her first time. The woman I like is Xiao Nan. I'm sure you know why last night happened. It's fine to play around a little, but the person I'm marrying is Xiao Nan. It doesn't matter how much trouble you're going to stir up. I'm never going to change my mind. After hearing Chen Jun's words, Xiao Zaijian had cried for an entire day on the hotel bed that they had shared the previous night. Chapter 2499, Exhausted, Finale, 2. Chen Jun's words echoed in Xiao Zaijian's ears. She had thought that there was no chance of her ever getting together with Chen Jun. So what if she had slept with Chen Jun? He wasn't owning up to it. But 2 months later, the depressed Xiao Zaijian found that she hadn't been getting her period. Xiao Zaijian had gone to the gynecologist to test her urine uneasily. When she received the news that she was pregnant, she was over the moon. She was pregnant with Chen Jun's child. When Xiao Zaijian had told Ding Jiyi about this, Ding Jiyi had chosen to stand on Xiao Zaijian's side without any hesitation. Ding Jiyi had already been complaining about how such a good man like Chen Jun should have been Xiao Zaijian's instead of Xiao Nan's to begin with. Now, everything was falling into place. Chen Jun was going to become her elder son-in-law instead of her younger son-in-law. Upon hearing that Chen Jun had refused to admit to sleeping with her, Ding Jiyi used Xiao Zaijian's pregnancy to force Xiao Nan to back down. Then, she contacted Chen Jun's parents to let them know that Xiao Zaijian was pregnant with a son. They were both adults, and Ding Jiyi didn't think that the Chen family would place more importance on their daughter-in-law than their grandson. Just as Ding Jiyi had expected, the Chen family insisted on Chen Jun breaking up with Jiao Nan and marrying Jiao Zijin for the sake of that child. The day she married Chen Jun, Jiao Zijin felt like she was the most blissful woman in the whole world. But when Chen Jun refused to hold a grand wedding, Jiao Zijin gradually realized that her marriage with Chen Jun would never be as blissful as she had imagined. In their 10 years of marriage, Chen Jun had gradually started spending less time at home and was spending more time sleeping outside instead. The scratches on Chen Jun's back, the hickeys on his neck, and perfume that didn't belong to her constantly reminded Jiao Zijin of what Chen Jun was doing outside. What annoyed Jiao Zijin the most was the smell of perfume on Chen Jun that would always change from time to time. Jiao Zijin understood that this change meant that Chen Jun's mistress had changed again. Under such torment, Jiao Zijin had been unable to hold it in and had followed in Chen Jun's footsteps. Unfortunately, Jiao Zijin had been caught red-handed by Chen Jun on her second time, and they had quickly gotten a divorce. From then on, Jiao Zijin felt that Jiao Nan had found a shaman. Jiao Zijin's life was going downhill, while Jiao Nan's life was only getting better and better. While she had gotten a divorce, Jiao Nan had gotten married. Her dad had become biased toward Jiao Nan, and she had lost a supporter. In the end, she hadn't even managed to keep her mom, Ding Jiyi, and she had even become the woman whom Ding Jiyi hated the most because she had driven her husband to death. Ha ha ha. But nothing mattered to her. So what if her father died? So what if her husband got a divorce from her? She had nothing to fear. She had a son, after all. What brought Jiao Zijin to her ends was that it seemed like she wouldn't even be able to hold on to her son. Her son gravitated toward Jiao Nan, treating Jiao Nan like his biological mother. Jiao Zijin felt aggrieved. She didn't believe that the heavens would be so unfair to let Jiao Nan suppress her for her whole life. Jiao Zijin had waited and waited. And finally, Ding Jiyi died. It was just as well. After her death, Ding Jiyi could finally reunite with her father. At the very least, Ding Jiyi would no longer blame her for her father's death. And then Jiao Zijin waited and waited. When she heard that Jiao Nan and Zai Sheng had passed away on the same night, she had laughed so much that her stomach hurt. 2. Ha ha ha. Reality proved that she was the final victor. Jiao Nan had died before her, and she was the one who had won. 1. Because of how hard she had laughed, Jiao Zijin had been sent to the hospital. After doing a full-body checkup on Jiao Zijin, the doctor diagnosed her with end-stage cancer. There was no cure. If Jiao Zijin wanted to undergo chemotherapy, it would be a great burden on her body. Even if they could prolong Jiao Zijin's life, they wouldn't be able to cure her. It wasn't that Chen Feng and Jia didn't have the money to pay for the chemotherapy. They could help Jiao Zijin prolong her life. 1. Jiao Zijin would probably have kicked up a fuss if they hadn't been willing to fork out that sum of money. Besides, the couple had lost the mood to do anything after attending Jiao Nan's and Zai Sheng's funerals. They simply wanted to solve Jiao Zijin's problems as soon as possible without any trouble. 1. To Chen Feng and Jia's surprise, Jiao Zijin decided not to treat her illness. She didn't have much longer to live anyway. It was much better to die in peace and comfort than live in torture. Within a month of being discharged, Jiao Zijin passed away. To be honest, Jiao Zijin felt that she had lived a sufficiently long life. Especially after knowing that Jiao Nan had passed away, Jiao Zijin felt that there was no meaning to her life anymore. Before taking her last breath, Jiao Zijin couldn't help but think about how Jiao Nan and Zai Sheng had died while holding each other's hands. It went without question that their ashes had been placed together and that they would be together even after death. As for her mom, no matter how much conflict they had had while they had been alive, her parents' ashes had been placed next to each other after their deaths. As for Chen Jun, that man who had been dead for decades wasn't lonely either. He had his parents, at the very least. What about her? Her son? Qiao Zijin didn't even dare to think about it. Qiao Nan's 3 children and Zai Sheng practically treated Qiao Nan like a princess and pampered her endlessly. Apart from transferring a monthly allowance to her, her only son would visit her only once a year during the new year. Worse still, they lived in the same city. While Qiao Nan was still alive, Chen Feng almost visited her every day with her granddaughter and grandson. Yet, she had never even met her grandchildren. Her son was closer to Qiao Nan than her. Could Qiao Zijin possibly count on her grandchildren, whom she had never even met, to place more emphasis on their biological grandmother than Qiao Nan? In fact, the 2 children might not even know of her existence. As Qiao Zijin felt her breathing getting more labored and that she was getting more tired, she knew that she was about to die. Qiao Zijin's lips had been curled upward even after her death. She had finally been able to escape this life. But as she smiled, she shed an especially bitter tear. All of Qiao Zijin's last thoughts could be summarized into a sentence. If she had a next life, she didn't want to meet Qiao Dongliang, Ding Ji, or Qiao Nan. All she wanted were normal parents and to grow up in a normal environment. She had lived an exhausting life. Chapter 2500, Miaojing and Zai Yaowai, 1. The Miao family had always said that Miaojing didn't have good fortune. But it wasn't that she would have a hard life. It was that she would be a jinx and bring harm to others. But at that time, the new republic had just been founded. The chairman had said to believe in science instead of superstitions. They had to eradicate the 4 old beliefs. That was why the Miao family didn't dare to let outsiders know about how they truly felt. However, no one in the Miao family treated Miaojing well even though she was the only child of Father and Mother Miao. Father Miao was the eldest in the Miao family. Ever since his childhood, he had been responsible for taking care of his younger siblings. He was no different from a father to them. That was why the Miao family had been reliant on Father Miao and felt that he was a good elder brother. But why did the Miao family despise Miaojing and think that she was a jinx? That story began from the time before the new China had been established. Everyone knew that Father Miao was bold and Father Miao had met Old Zai more than once. The first time, Father Miao and Old Zai had still been young and impulsive youths. At that time, there had been many internal wars within the country. Because of his many younger siblings, Father Miao had no choice but to give up his passion for defending the country and take care of his family instead. But Old Zai was different. He had already been engaged in the war of resistance and fought to bring peace to the country for the sake of his wife and son. Every time he went to the front lines, Old Zai was never soft-hearted to his enemies. Before long, Old Zai had made a name for himself in the military as a sniper. Not only was he accurate, but he was also almost twice as fast as other snipers. Given his accuracy, Old Zai had almost twice the killing rate of his comrades. His performance was so outstanding that he didn't even need to promote himself. His superiors were extremely impressed and wanted to groom Old Zai and give him the chance to further his career. But as this happened more often, it was inevitable that others tried to bring him down. Once, Old Zai had fallen into a trap set up by the Japanese. Old Zai had been injured and had been so weak that he couldn't even drag himself back to the base for treatment. It was Father Miao who had picked him up along the way. When Old Zai awoke, his first reaction was gratefulness that he had not died. He hadn't made his wife into a widow, and his son into an orphan. But when he took a look at his surroundings, he realized that he had been hidden in a civilian's home. During their second encounter, Old Zai asked Father Miao, "Why are you so bold?" To be honest, the Japanese look pretty much the same as our people. No one would know if the Japanese wear our uniform and try to act as one of us. Weren't you afraid of saving the wrong side after I was shot and was bleeding so severely? Father Miao was upset. What do you mean that the Japanese look like us? They're much shorter than us. Besides, I knew at once that you're Chinese. You won't be able to fool me. That was Father Miao and Old Zai's first encounter. At that time, Zai Yaowai had already been born but was still unweaned. Because Father Miao hadn't met Mother Miao at that time, Miao Jing still did not exist. Even after 10 years of war, it wasn't so easy to establish a new country, and an internal war arose again. Because of the battle between factions, old Zai had been injured again. And once again, he had been saved by Father Miao. This time, they were like old acquaintances and old Zai treated Father Miao like his own brother. "Oh, you moved." Father Miao laughed. "I'm married now. We have too many family members but too few rooms. My younger siblings aren't young anymore, so I decided to move out with my wife so that my siblings can live more comfortably." Fool! Old Zai had been rebellious as a youth too, but his heart was good. Nonetheless, his words and tone were not flattering. "You're the eldest in the family, right? You went through so much to raise your younger siblings. You've already done your duty as an elder brother, and you even gave up a good house for your younger siblings to live more comfortably? What a fool! Your younger siblings should be grateful that they have such a good elder brother. All I can say is that your wife and children are really pitiful for having you. This house was obviously not as good as the previous one. A strong blast of wind would probably blow this house down." Old Zai was sure that water would leak through the roof when it rained even without personally witnessing it. Even with old Zai's tone, Father Miao hadn't gotten angry, and he even had an expression full of respect. "It's not that bad. I'll fix it later. It's only this way because I just recently moved here with my wife." "Do you have a child?" "Yes, but it's still in my wife's tummy." Father Miao let out a fatherly smile at the mention of his child. Father Miao treated his younger siblings well, and it was only natural that he would treat his own child even better. "She hasn't given birth yet." Old Zai gave it some thought. "My son is already a few years old. Since you saved me twice, if your wife gives birth to a son, he'll be brothers with mine. If she gives birth to a daughter, how about you marry her off to my son?" Father Miao refused. "No, my son will definitely be a wild child. If it's a girl, I want her close to me." Even though Father Miao had never asked about old Zai's situation, he knew that old Zai would definitely become an impressive figure in the future from the times he had saved him. He didn't know how far old Zai would progress, but he knew that he didn't amount to much. Father Miao was self-aware. He had saved others out of his own volition and felt that he had fulfilled his dreams of being a soldier and protecting his country and people by protecting his fellow countrymen even though he had not been able to join the military himself. As such, Father Miao had no intentions of leeching off old Zai. He simply wanted to live his own simple life. Old Zai had been pretty upset that Father Miao had refused his suggestion. Because of his temper, he had refused to chat with Father Miao afterward. Father Miao paid no attention to that, thinking that old Zai was simply tired because of his injury. Then, he gave up his room to old Zai so that he could rest well. In the face of such an honest and sincere Father Miao, old Zai couldn't vent his temper. Thankfully, that anger subsided within a day.